I'm Diana Mason, Deputy Head Teacher at Ashingdon Primary, and I'm also the Start-Bee Ambassador in school. I am very passionate about Start-Bee because I know that it works. My own children do it, or have done it for the last year in their school, and the difference in their handwriting when they're writing at home is just fantastic. And so I asked them about it, what is this? What have you been doing? And then when the opportunity came up to see what Start-Bee was all about, I said to my head, we've got to jump at it because I know that it works. We need something in school to improve handwriting and also just the ability to write without thinking about it. That's what we were looking for, and Start-Bee does this for the children. Start-Bee works because we really push it from above, and because we believe that it works. And all the teachers are on board, all the children absolutely love it. So it's fantastic, and I think it comes across because I'm so passionate about it and I know that it works. I think what's fantastic is the Match Fit Assessment, because you've got that hard data and you know exactly where the children have started. So then when you do it at the end of the year to see exactly where they've gone to, then you can see that progress. It's in the data, it's as clear as day, as well as being in their books and in their Start-Bee folders. So it's fantastic. As Handwriting Ambassador, I created a timetable to make sure there were no crossovers, because obviously the trolley is the pinnacle of Start-Bee. And so it's timetabled for half an hour. We did leave slight gaps either side just to allow the movement of the trolley around school, things like that. I'm constantly sending emails and things like that, and talking to people about resources and how best that can work and what to do with the patterns at the end of the day. We've got structures in place for the charging of the trolley, of taking the plug out, even down to those fine nitty-gritties. It's all kind of timetabled in and very, very structured to make sure that it can run really smoothly. I'm going to take my monitoring a step further, because what I want to see is Start-Bee in other classrooms, because obviously I see it in my own, I see my own children doing it, but I wouldn't be monitoring properly unless I went to have a look at everyone else and to see the lessons in action. Obviously I can see the impact in the children's books with their handwriting, things like that already, but getting into classes is the next step to see how the children are responding to it. I wouldn't say that we've had negativity per se. There were teething problems in the respect of obviously the children getting used to running their lessons. There have to obviously be strong structures in place as to different managers, so the light box managers, all these kinds of things. So class teachers have got those in place now. And I think the biggest thing was probably stepping back from the actual teaching and letting Hannah Jane do it, but then actually you've got the freedom to kind of walk around and correct small things like pencil grip and posture, which you wouldn't have been able to do if you were teaching handwriting at the front. And so I wouldn't say it was negativity, it's just different, but in a good way. The Match Fit Assessment for us is is very, very important, because in school, with any intervention, you need to know a starting point and a finishing point to understand the impact that that intervention is having. So having that for handwriting, rather than just using your eyes and thinking, oh yeah, I can see this child is improved, having that hard data is fantastic, because you can see, yes, these children are making great progress. So attainment wise, you're thinking, yes, fantastic. But it also helps to identify those children who are hypermobile, those kinds of things that you would never have known before. And so you can then run the small intervention groups going forward. So it's very powerful to have the Match Fit Assessment. It's so important. It is still important to teach handwriting in early years, Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2, because the formation of letters obviously is important lower down the school. But the higher up the school you go, with the new national curriculum and the content and the rate that we have to go through the curriculum is just phenomenal. For these children to be able to keep up and actually write the content that they need to do in the time given is so important. So for the respective formation of letters, but also that ability to write at length without thinking about it is just so important now. Even in a digital age where children constantly use computers and iPads and things, you still need to write. There's no getting away from it. You know, even in the future, there'll still be a pen and a pencil, and children need that ability. But also with Start-Bee, it's not just about the handwriting. It's all about how the brain works and getting those two sides of the brain to work together. And that's important for motor skills, whether you're using an iPad or a pencil. So it's so important. I would say that delivering Start-Bee impacts on behaviour greatly, because during those sessions you could hear a pin drop in the room, and this knocks on to how children approach any task now, not just in Start-Bee. It just takes a word posture, and the children, you see them just sit up. And even in other lessons, like in maths, you know, with, oh, check your grip, and they turn their pencil around. You know, it's having an effect everywhere. But on learning behaviour, concentration, I would say, is better, because they're ready to learn. And learning behaviours all round, really. It's had a really positive impact. It's so positive to be a hub school for all the schools in our group, simply because the way that we work in our local cluster is all to do with sharing good practice. And I think because we really believe in Start-Bee and how it works, sharing that across our cluster will be fantastic. And sharing that good word and the good practice, it's what schools do, and that's what schools should do. Always share good practice.